You lost her. Long before she walked away. It wasn't the messages she stopped replying to. Not the silence. Not even the way her eyes stopped lighting up when you entered the room. You lost her. When you stopped being him. When you betrayed the man you promised yourself you'd become. She didn't fall out of love. She watched the man she once admired disappear, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but someone even you couldn't recognize. She didn't leave you. You left. You first. There's a moment, and if you've lived it, you'll never forget it. You're sitting in silence, phone in your hand, screen glowing in the dark like a reminder of who you used to be. You stare at her name, but you don't text. Not because you don't want to, because you know. Deep down, you're not the man she remembers. And maybe you never were. See, heartbreak doesn't start when someone leaves. It starts way earlier. In the moments when you trade your edge for comfort, your mission for her attention, your discipline for dopamine. You didn't just lose her. You lost your masculine energy, your alpha mindset, your self-respect. It starts small. You skip the gym. You break your own rules. You stop fighting. You soften. And at first, no one notices. But slowly, you stop showing up as a man. And she feels it. She won't tell you directly. She'll just start pulling away. Emotionally first, then physically. Until one day, her silence becomes louder than her voice ever was. You tell yourself she changed, that she gave up too easily. But what if the truth is uglier than that? What if she just couldn't follow someone who lost all direction? This isn't about her. It never was. This is about you, about why she left, about the quiet ways you abandoned yourself long before she ever did, about the version of you that let go of the hunger, the fire, the mission, the version of you that got too comfortable being soft. You weren't rejected. You were forgotten by the man you were supposed to become. You want to know what hurts more than heartbreak? Realizing that you were the one who handed her the scissors to cut the cord, realizing that she left because you weren't there anymore. You lost yourself first. That's the truth. She didn't wake up one day and decide to fall out of love. She watched it happen. Quietly. From across the room. From the passenger seat. From the other side of the bed, and you gave her a front row seat to your own collapse. You stopped being dangerous. Stopped being disciplined. Stopped being masculine. Not toxic. Not cruel. Not controlling, just empty, aimless, safe, and the moment you became predictable, the moment you stopped growing, you stopped being attractive, not physically, energetically. That's the part they don't teach you. Masculinity isn't about volume. It's not bravado or status or having money. It's direction, purpose, relentless self-improvement. It's the fire that wakes you up before the alarm, the silence you sit in when no one else claps, the discipline to keep going when there's no applause. When you lost that, you lost the gravity that kept her close. You can't lead a woman if you can't lead yourself. You can't expect loyalty when you've abandoned your own vision. You can't ask her to believe in a man who stopped believing in himself. This isn't about blame. This is about awareness. You want to know why she left. Because she saw it coming. Because she tried to hold on. But she was clinging to a ghost, a memory, a man who no longer existed. And you were too busy numbing the pain to notice. Heartbreak isn't the end. It's the mirror. It's the proof that the man you are isn't enough to hold what you once had. But here's the twist most men never see coming. She wasn't the lesson. You were. There's a version of you that wakes up before the sun, that doesn't scroll first thing in the morning, that doesn't need external validation to feel alive. That version of you, he's been buried under comfort, under distraction, under fear. But he's not gone. He's watching, and he's disappointed. You were supposed to become something. Not someone famous, not someone loud, but someone solid, someone unshakable. A man with eyes full of mission. A man who walks into a room and doesn't need to speak to be respected. Instead, you chose escape. You chose temporary highs over long-term growth. You chose ease over evolution, and now you sit in the ruins wondering why everything feels hollow. Let me tell you what no one else will. You were meant to suffer. You were meant to be broken. You were meant to get crushed, betrayed, humiliated. Because without the pain, you'd never wake up. That heartbreak, that rejection, that woman walking away, it was a gift, the kind wrapped in barbed wire. It cut you open for a reason, to expose the weakness, to show you the cracks, to remind you, you haven't arrived, you're not him yet, but you can be. If you start now, not tomorrow. Not when it hurts less. Not when you feel ready. Now. Put down the phone. Pick up the weight. Go outside. Feel the cold on your skin. Feel the silence. Learn to sit in it. Without music. Without her voice. Without noise. Become dangerous again. Not to hurt others, but to defend something. To protect your values. To stand for something more than pleasure. Do you know why most men stay broken? Because rebuilding requires solitude. It demands a version of peace that's painful. It forces you to sit face to face with the parts of you no one claps for. That's where masculinity is forged. In silence. In sweat. In days where no one notices, but you still show up. She didn't leave because you were emotional. She didn't leave because you cried. She left because your pain made you passive, because you used it as a crutch, not a catalyst. A man doesn't run from pain. He lets it shape him. He lets it sharpen his vision. He bleeds. He breaks. But he doesn't bow. That's how to be a man. Not by pretending you don't hurt, but by choosing to rise anyway. To take that heartbreak and let it become your discipline. To take that rejection and let it fuel your rebirth. There is a storm inside of you. You've just been afraid to let it loose. But understand this. A man who knows his darkness is a man no one can manipulate. Because he's not afraid of losing anything. He's already lost himself once. He knows what it costs. So he builds. Brick by brick, alone if he has to. He doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He attracts. Through energy. Through presence. Through the quiet intensity of someone who knows his worth without needing applause. That's the alpha mindset. Not dominance over others, but mastery over self. You lost yourself first. But that doesn't have to be where it ends. It can be where it starts. The question is, are you man enough to face that truth and do something about it? She doesn't think about you anymore. She doesn't check your stories. She doesn't wonder how you're doing, because the man she loved is gone. And maybe the truth you're avoiding is that deep down, you wouldn't chase you either. You promised you'd never become soft. Never beg. Never lose yourself for a woman. But here you are, scrolling through memories she already forgot. She didn't break you. You broke your own code, and that's the part that haunts you at night. You lost yourself first. That's where everything began. Not with her leaving, not with the arguments, not with the silence, but with you. Turning your back on the man you were meant to become, and now you're here. Alone. Not because life is unfair, but because life is precise. It removes what no longer aligns with who you're pretending to be. She didn't leave you. She left the version of you who gave up on his mission, the one who chose comfort over character, the one who stopped fighting. But this isn't a death sentence. It's a wake-up call. A second chance wearing the skin of pain. A whisper from your shadow saying, "Get up." Because real masculinity is forged in these moments, in the rebuilding, in the solitude, in the long nights where no one is watching, but you show up anyway. This is your chance to make peace with the man in the mirror, to remember who the hell you were before the world told you to be softer, to rebuild the edge that life dulled, to reclaim the fire you buried under guilt, regret, and passivity. You want peace? Earn it. Through discipline, through silence, through every rep, every book, every decision made when no one's watching. You don't need her back. You need you back. And when you become that man again, the man with direction, with hunger, with gravity, you won't chase anyone. Because now, you lead. And if she sees you again, she won't recognize you. Not because you've changed, but because this time you finally became who you were meant to be. The pain was the price, but now, you own yourself. If this hit something inside you, don't scroll. Write. Speak. Bleed into the comments. Say what you were too afraid to admit out loud. Maybe someone reads it. Maybe she reads it, or maybe you finally read yourself.